Were you a good student growing up?
I was a conscientious student, but I spent half my time in the theatre.
Yeah.
We can't jump from the rooftops shouting, about, I have this, look at me, victim. No.
Most people remember Catherine Zeta-Jones as the glamorous actress in The Mask of Zorro and the standout performer in Chicago, a role that won her an Oscar and made her a Hollywood icon. But hidden beneath the glamour was a story few ever saw. Behind Catherine's smile and the red carpets was a scar on her throat from childhood and silent battles with mental illness that she carried for years. Her life wasn't only the story of a Hollywood icon. It was a story of survival, strength, and painful truths the spotlight never showed. So what happened behind the fame? Let's find out. The scar that never left. From the very beginning, Catherine Zeta-Jones's life was a battle for survival. Long before Hollywood fame, she carried her first scar. As a toddler in Swansea, Wales, she could barely breathe when a severe viral infection blocked her throat. Doctors had no choice but to perform an emergency tracheotomy, cutting open her throat to save her life. The scar beneath her chin was small and later hidden by makeup and glamour, but it remained a lasting reminder of her struggles. Catherine Zeta-Jones was born into a modest working-class family. Her father ran a bakery while her mother worked as a seamstress. Life was simple, but Catherine was full of energy and passion. She loved to sing and dance around the house, often without asking for permission. Her parents recognized her talent, and destiny opened a door to support her. The family won $100,000 in the national lottery. Instead of spending it carelessly, they invested wisely and used the money to fund Catherine's training. Her childhood passed quickly. At just 15, she was offered a role in The Pajama Game, and she made the heartbreaking choice to leave school and pursue acting full-time. While other teenagers were enjoying their lives, Catherine was thrown into a world of adults full of criticism and endless judgment. But for Catherine, this was her life. She had no other plan. From failure to phenomenon. However, at the start, Hollywood was not kind. In 1990, Catherine landed her first film role in 1001 Nights, playing Scheherazade. She set high expectations for the movie, but it turned into a disaster. The film sold fewer than 740 tickets in France, grossing under $254,000. Hollywood ignored her, and her dream seemed shattered before it began. But Catherine refused to retreat. She soon found a role in an English television series. From 1991 to 1993, she starred in The Darling Buds of May, which became a beloved show in the UK. Audiences loved it. However, she wasn't getting traction in Hollywood, but still, she wasn't able to convince Hollywood. She even admitted, maybe I didn't have what it took. Then destiny opened another door for her. Steven Spielberg noticed her performances in The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles and Titanic. And then, one phone call changed everything. In 1998, Catherine won the role of Elena Montero in The Mask of Zorro. She fought for it, trained for months, refused a stunt double, and endured tough rehearsals. The film became a global hit, grossing over $250 million. Now, Catherine wasn't overlooked in Hollywood. She had become a star. And in 2002, as Velma Kelly in Chicago, she conquered the world. Pregnant with her daughter, she danced, sang, and stole every frame. And just days before giving birth, she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. But behind the applause and flashing cameras, life was about to test her in ways far harsher than Hollywood ever had. A love story under fire. Catherine's career looked like a fairy tale, and so did her love life. In 1998, she met Michael Douglas at the Deauville Film Festival. He was 53, already a two-time Oscar winner, while she was 28 and was on her rise in Hollywood. Despite the 25-year age gap and public criticism, they connected instantly. Within a year, Michael proposed with a vintage diamond ring, and in 2000, they married in a lavish ceremony at New York's Plaza Hotel. But the fairy tale quickly faced shadows. Paparazzi from Hello magazine secretly crashed the wedding and took unauthorized photos, even though Catherine and Michael had signed an exclusive $1 million deal with OK magazine. The lawsuit that followed dragged on for years, turning what should have been the happiest day of her life into a stressful battle. Catherine later said it was the first time she truly felt the heavy pressure of being a celebrity wife. The couple welcomed their son, Dylan, in 2000 and their daughter, Karis, in 2003, which brought them even closer. To protect their children from constant media attention, they moved to Bermuda and lived quietly for 6 years. Catherine loved the break, saying, "It was the first time I didn't hear the word action for months, and I loved it." Still, even in paradise, doubts haunted her. She often wondered, am I enough for this life? Is he enough for me? On the outside, their marriage looked like a dream, but inside, Catherine was fighting the battles no one knew about. The silent battles. Behind her smile, Catherine was quietly breaking down. After the birth of her daughter, Karis, in 2003, she began to struggle with mood swings, exhaustion, and deep sadness. She later admitted, "I had to smile at premieres while I was falling apart inside." Doctors eventually diagnosed her with bipolar II disorder, but she kept it hidden. Life around her grew even harder. In 2009, Michael's eldest son, Cameron, was sent to prison for drug charges. Just a year later, Michael himself was diagnosed with stage 4 throat cancer. Catherine stayed by his side through painful treatments, watching the man she leaned on suffer. Things got worse when Michael suggested in an interview that his cancer might be linked to HPV. The media frenzy that followed left Catherine feeling exposed and betrayed. By 2011, she couldn't carry the weight anymore. Catherine checked herself into a mental health facility. When the news became public, she decided to choose honesty. "This is a disorder that affects millions. I'm not ashamed," she told the press. With those words, she broke Hollywood's silence about mental health. Fans from around the world reached out with love and thanks. Catherine was no longer just an actress. She had become a voice for millions who suffered in silence. The collapse no one saw coming. But by 2013, Catherine and Michael's marriage was in trouble. They quietly announced that they were separating. The media filled the story with rumors of cheating, addiction, and betrayal. But the real truth was never shared. Catherine admitted she was utterly exhausted. Years of stress, illness, and relentless scandals had taken a toll on her mental and physical health. Many nights she sat alone, questioning her worth. 8 months later, they chose to get back together, and they did it without making any announcements. But the challenges didn't end. In 2018, Michael was accused of misconduct. However, Catherine defended him in public, but privately the pain was heavy. She said, "I didn't sign up for perfect. I signed up for love." In the end, their marriage survived, but it carried scars. Rising from the ashes. In her 50s, Catherine entered a new phase of her life. Dylan and Karis left for college, and the house grew quieter. She returned to acting, and the woman once defined by roles and red carpets began building a different life. In 2022, she stunned everyone with her performance as Morticia Addams in Netflix's Wednesday. Not only that, she has also built Casa Zeta-Jones, a lifestyle brand. Now she mostly splits her time between a Manhattan apartment and a $33 million Mallorca villa. Her children, Dylan and Karis, grew into adults, her legacy reflected in their eyes. And though her bipolar disorder never vanished, Catherine learned to live with it. She spoke openly in interviews. "We talk about cancer openly, why not mental illness?" Her honesty inspired thousands, turning pain into purpose. Her marriage with Michael found sturdier ground. "Sometimes both partners need their sky to see the same stars," she said. Their love became quieter and more intimate over time. In the end, Catherine Zeta-Jones's story is not only about fame, it is about survival. From the faint scar beneath her chin to the golden Oscar in her hand, from silent breakdowns to powerful comebacks, she has endured storms most could never imagine. Her journey is marked by heartbreak, yet it is also defined by resilience. Catherine showed that true strength is not the absence of pain, but the courage to rise again and again. Which part of Catherine's journey inspired you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you like the video, smash that like button and subscribe button. Also, consider turning on the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos like this. Until then, see ya.